And Lisa and the morning crew will put in a marathon of a day next Friday when they host our ninth annual, as a matter of fact, Cans for a Cause at Devonshire Mall. Our number 2 today, we're happy to have in the studio with us Bosko Kacharovich. I said his name wrong in his introduction, so I apologize for that. But Bosko is the president of Central Metals Corp, and he is here to talk a little bit about investing and about gold and silver and what it can do for you as a part of your portfolio. First of all, welcome to the studio. Can you tell us a little bit about your company?
Sure, thanks. I'm glad to be here, Leah. Central Metals Corp is a Canadian-based company, and what we do is we provide gold and silver bullion to our international clients as investments, and we also offer vault storage facilities globally. We have currently we have clients around the world that are storing their gold and silver in fully insured vaults, anywhere from Singapore to California. We have clients in Europe as well, in Brazil. So what we do is we try to teach people how to be their basically their own central bank, if you will.
Now, if people have any questions at all about gold and silver bullion, purchasing, the benefits of. We're going to learn a little bit about all of that today, but also we encourage you, or at least Bosko says, call in if you have a question at all, because I think this is kind of a scary area for a lot of people. Call in, ask them questions at 519-792-CKLW, 519-792-2559. Why is it, do you think, is that we don't look at this or use this as an option?
Well, first I'd like to make it clear to all the listeners, we don't give financial advice. We offer consultations on wealth protection strategies. And over the years, gold has been typically discounted as an investment from the establishment, the banking industry, and so on, basically because it's competition. Just like anything else, you have competition in different products. Doesn't matter what industry. In the financial industry, gold is competition to mutual funds, to stocks, to those things. So when people want to be really diversified, you want to have a portion of your portfolio in the stock market. You want to have a portion of your portfolio maybe in real estate or land or agriculture, a portion of it in precious metals, and maybe a portion of it. A lot of people invest in art and fine wines. And an interesting fact I read recently is that actually fine wine has outperformed even gold as an investment. I know nothing about fine wine, but people need to. What we're here to do is kind of try and bring gold back into the mainstream investment. Gold has been around as a investment for longer than any government or currency or stock market or bank has ever existed. So, a lot of my clients come in and ask for opinions and advice about their RSP and their retirement plans. And we have to consider gold is, retirement plans have been around, RSPs maybe for the last 30, 40 years, where gold as a wealth protection investment has been around for thousands of years. And, it's just one of those legacy assets that you can hand down from generation to generation. And it's typically in times of economic unrest and financial instability, gold always outperforms. As in recent years, for example, in the past 12 years, gold has outperformed every single investment out there, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, even real estate. So what we do is try and educate people on gold and silver investments and hopefully try and help them, protect some of their wealth.
Now, when you talked about gold outperforming, what's an ounce of gold worth today? Because we always look at gold prices daily on the markets. The price is always looked at, and it's That's a lot of money for an ounce of gold right
Yeah,
now.
1 ounce of gold at the close of the market on Friday was around, I think, $1,715. And the thing, gold, for example, in 2000, okay, 12 years ago, gold was roughly around $250. So gold has gone up roughly around 400%. Okay, and there's a lot of criticism about gold because it doesn't produce interest or dividends. Okay, well, if you look at other market indexes, gold has still outperformed the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It has outperformed the S&P 500, and even if you include the interest and dividends. And the thing that people don't realize is that gold is not supposed to produce interest and dividends. Gold is a store of value. It's real money. It's a currency, if you will. Gold basically competes against international currencies because what happens is central banks around the world, what they do is they print money. For example, in the U.S. and even in Canada and Europe right now, governments are having financial difficulties. So what they do is the central bank prints money for them to add liquidity to the system. And what the spin-off of that is that it creates higher inflation. So gold is an instrument that people can use to protect themselves against inflation. It's considered insurance, and the thing that people need to understand is that central banks are not really an agency of the government. For example, in the Federal Reserve in the United States is a private institution. They call it the Federal Reserve to make it look like it's a government run bank, but it's not. It's a group of private banks that don't always necessarily have the government's best interest in mind. They're there to make a profit. So that's how central banks operate, and they don't have to answer to anyone. They can print money as they see fit, whatever their banks and shareholders are depends on where they want to profit and where they want to move their money. Right now, we have a lot of problems in Europe. The United States, for example, has some major problems. They have a huge trade deficit. Their national debt is hitting records like $16 trillion. And, the problem is paying that money back. And so gold is something that you use to protect your wealth.
Well, and even you mentioned the uncertainty even in Europe now, and Germany, one of the European powerhouses, is now facing some, a crisis of its own, handing out, tons and tons of money to other EU countries, for example, Greece at this point. So there is a lot of uncertainty, and gold is one of those things that you can go to any country in the world, and if you have gold or you have dollars, gold will rule. I mean, it's just one of those currencies. Now, what about silver? Silver prices are not that great, are they right now?
Well, silver prices...
and they both fluctuate, we should also say, too. But gold has seen a huge increase, but silver, not so much just now, but it's up and down.
Yeah, silver is also very volatile, and silver right now is around $33 an ounce. But silver was, 10 years ago, it was like $5 an ounce. And both metals have outperformed other investments in the past decade. Silver is also a good investment, but silver has many industrial qualities to it. It's used in more and more in the medical industry as an antibacterial products. Interesting fact, you've heard the old saying, a child was born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Back then, the reason for that was wealthy individuals could afford silverware, and when you feed a baby with a silver spoon, it kills the bacteria, if there's any in the food, and so on. So they're starting to more and more use silver in industrial applications, like everybody's iPad and iPod and cell phones. They all have silver in them. Laptop computers, they all use silver. So there is a big demand for silver in the industrial world and in the investment area, but because it has that portion of it that's considered an industrial, it is affected by the condition of the market, okay, or the economy. So